Here we are at it again on our American Gods spoiler special reaction review.
Yeah, we're back and we got there was some action. It
There
happened.
was some action.
Oh,
As a weird motif of the show, it's becoming big dongs. Is like
big
the
dong.
recurring theme.
Let's just jump straight to the scene because big old magical genie penis.
No, Jinn. He's not a genie, but he's a Jinn. Which I believe, is kind of like
A genie.
in the Islamic cultures and stuff like that. They have these. It's not a genie. It's their form of kind of spirit creatures, spirit deity figures. Are the Jinn, which can also be malevolent or they can be good and they can grant wishes and so on and so on and so forth.
No, he can't grant wishes. He says.
Well, he can't. This is the thing. But yes, in the book there is the scene we're referring to. There is one of the most explicit homosexual love-making sequences I've ever read. Not that I've read many, but it's very, very graphic and explicit in the book. And the question was, are they going to kind of put that up on screen? And fair play to them, they really did.
Yeah, I was slightly taken back, Junior, because I haven't seen anything like that before in TV.
Yeah, and why not?
Because it's always been like a taboo subject until the last sort of, let's say 10 years, where it's slowly bridging its way in.
Yeah, it's and rightly so. I think you can show heterosexual knobbing on TV. You can show, and also, to be honest, I'm not because it's what I want to see, but I find it oddly refreshing that we've seen two male phalluses in this show. And we haven't actually had any graphic depiction. Okay, there's been what's her name consuming from the vagina, but there haven't been.
You don't see the entrance of the vagina.
You don't see vaginas. It's not particularly sexualized. Whereas to see, a couple of full frontal male schlonguses is weirdly refreshing.
It was a very intimate scene as well.
It was. It genuinely was quite. It's obviously it has to kind of abridge it into a 10-minute sequence. Whereas in the book you have a whole kind of passage which is devoted to this. But it is it's quite a sweet, it's quite a tender relationship forming. You do feel like there's a man lost in another country who doesn't understand the culture and the people and is just looking for a human connection, or superhuman in this kind of case,
or a job. It seemed like that was the confusing thing for me. Was suddenly the Jinn, the guy who's in the taxi at first, is just vanished, and now this guy's got he's just now the taxi driver. He's the Jinn, is that right?
Yeah. Well, do you not think that that's kind of him granting the wish that he said he wouldn't grant? In a way, it's this man looking for prosperity and looking for a job.
Did he not want a different job though?
I think he just wanted a kind of a future and earning.
Because he waited all day for that job. I can't remember what the job was. Did they mention the job?
He was a salesman, I believe.
Oh, yes, that was it. Yeah, he could sell stuff, but he was selling terrible things. But now he's a taxi man.
Yeah, but, it's... I thought that was quite a nice little vignette. I also... Let's go back to the opening of episode 3, which Martin will tell me what it's called. No, he won't. Episode 3 of season 1 of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Named probably something to do with spoons again.
It was called Winter Snow. It's snowing.
Yeah, that whole snow sequence was really nice. But let's go right back to the beginning. In that opening vignette of the woman being taken to this kind of ethereal afterlife, I believe by what's meant to be Anubis, the Egyptian god of the dead, which I thought was a really kind of nice little narrative that went into a quite spacey, tripped out version of kind of the afterlife, which I thought was quite nicely done. If anything, I thought this, even though it does kind of take a kind of segue in the middle for that little love story vignette with the Jinn, I thought it was probably the best episode so far. I thought it was really kind of like dramatic where it needed to be, kind of weird and spiritual and airy fairy. But then, yeah, I don't know. What did you think of the episode?
Yeah, I would agree. It's definitely the best one so far. It's the most. I've been saying with the previous ones, it's a bit like what's going on. But
Yeah.
with this one, you have got some recurring characters like the little green man, even though he's not little green.
The big leprechaun. Yeah, I think that was
Giant
actually...
leprechaun. It's good seeing characters come back in, so I know sort of where we've been at with him.
Yeah.
There's sort of, a bit of backstory for them, rather than it just being what the hell are these doing?
I thought he's really good. There's this our leprechaun friend. What's his name? I can't bloody remember the character's name, but he's got I think his arc's playing out quite nicely. He's quite a well-formed character. If anything, like almost more memorable than he is in the book. I think he's really cool.
Yeah, I think he's really cool, and he's got a presence about him, which is quite.
Yeah, he was in that actor was in Orange Is the New Black as the rapey guard.
Yes, that's where I remember him from. I've been trying to remember.
And
he definitely sets himself apart from that role.
And he does it really well, and he kind of sells this Mad Sweeney, that's it. But
yes.
he sells it, and he's got a kind of persona and it still has that like it loves to take these little story divergence when he's hitchhiking, and then that guy, because he's now lost his magic coin, he's a leprechaun with bad luck, which is this kind of, but it does it in a really kind of dark, morbid, modern take on this leprechaun, as opposed to him being obviously a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow.
Yes.
He's more of a, and it's fun to see that and see how that affects on this kind of real world.
I don't get how. So he's got this one lucky coin, out of many that he's got in his pockets. How has he ended up giving that one away?
Well, I don't know.
He's a god in.
Is he?
Luck, I assume. Isn't everyone a god in this?
No, not gods, but it's more to do with what they're. No, not God so much as kind of just theological characters or deities,
okay.
It can be anything from.
I want to see a hippogriffin just sort of chilling in a corner shop.
Well, there's not, you're not a million miles off in all way. No, there's not quite that, but there's, it doesn't, I wouldn't say not to expect. There's pretty much as well in the novel, as much as out there kind of characters as you can think of pretty much appear in some form or another. So yeah, cool. It goes to some crazy old lengths.
That's good. That's quite reassuring.
Yeah. What else happens in the episode? You have that lovely little, which I remember quite well from the book, how Mr. Wednesday steals money from a bank, which is quite smart. He,
is it though? I feel like they sort of brushed past the whole.
Yeah, that's quite a big bit in the book. In that he, so essentially he's taken a load of paying in slips and pretends to be a security guard. That essentially he tells people that the paying in system isn't working inside, so they have to pay it. The machine.
Yeah, so I assume the bank is closed.
So he has to. So people pay in their cash at a machine, and he says that's not working, so they have to fill out a paying in slip and give him the money, and then he just takes it. So he just stands there and waits while people give him money.
And for the policeman to come, firstly, it's not. People wouldn't do that. I don't think, especially in today's world. And for the policeman to question him and just like call up this number he gives and just believe the guy on the phone. I thought it was kind of a bit of a unrealistic storyline, let's say, compared to today's world. Okay.
Yeah, well, it is and it isn't today's world, I guess. It's kind of a fantasy realism to a point. So I see what you mean.
But it's set in today's sort of
age. Yeah, you're right. It? Yeah, you're not wrong. And but that whole making it snow I thought was pretty cool.
Yes.
That whole sequence was felt quite big, if you know what I mean. It felt like he was having an effect on the world around him, and there's more to come there. There's more of a kind of, you know.
And was that Shadow producing that snow, or is it just Mr. Wednesday doing it at the right time?
I don't want to tell you who's what.
Oh, I'm just going to assume it's Mr. Wednesday, as he's like Odin's dad. No, he is Odin.
Is he? Oh, big spoilers, kind of, but maybe. Yeah. I guess we're doing a kind of spoiler deconstruction.
Well, we're doing every episode, aren't we? So
we are, yeah. So yeah, he is some form of religious figure that you might associate with someone like Odin or something. Things get more, you start to understand more as it goes on and learn who other characters are and what their relation are to each other, which makes it kind of, but yeah, so I don't really want to give it away in terms of, because it's not just this guy is Odin, it's about how perhaps if it were a god, how this god has lived and adapted and become almost something else for this new age.
Okay, and I guess you can see that that's what they're trying to sort of portray with the whole bank scene. Is that's how he gets by. He's smart, and he's smart because he's always after, like, he's the search for greater knowledge. But also he's good at conning people. He's good at
what he needs. Yeah, everything he does is a means to an end to be able to access what he really needs, which is belief. He needs to be able to. He will, like he said in an episode, he needs people, in the last episode, he needs people to believe him. That's the only thing that can kill him, is being forgotten.
Yes.
Losing faith. Because gods thrive and get by on having their faith almost fed to them through prayer and through belief. And if gods are forgotten about, and if people move on to kind of other things that they've set up for themselves, whether that be like the first episode and the second episode kind of alludes to, is the like these spirits that are television and the internet or whatever. So yeah, he's a trickster. He's a guy. He's a scam artist, and he's trying to find a way to survive in a modern world that maybe doesn't have time for these ancient gods and their history and whatever. So he's trying to find a way to, survive and perhaps bring back an age of belief in these old gods.
Yes.
And that's where we're kind of heading, is a confrontation between these old forgotten gods and the new gods.
Which I've got no idea how they're going to work out, because in my head, it's just, they are just going to get forgotten.
Yeah, well, they won't go down without a fight.
Okay. Oh, they're going to write a new book.
Fight.
But going back to the whole, them needing to feed off the prayers. Burlesque, it shows you with Burlesque where, pray for me. Tell me how much you love me.
I thought her name was like Belliquis.
Yeah, man, this is just how I talk there.
Burlesque, sure, let's go with that. Pretty sure it's Belliquis.
It is Belliquis.
Okay,
it doesn't matter though. We know who we're talking about.
Yeah,
Vagina eating lady.
There we go.
You see it. She becomes younger.
Yeah, she does.
That's it. They put that in early to give us an idea of that.
Yeah, like I say, and this is why I feel it will all become more satisfying with time. Once you do get a kind of greater scope of what's going on in the story and so on and where it's heading. I've been saying this, and I don't think I need to say it anymore, because I do think it is kind of starting to sell it. I think it's doing a good job, as good a job as it can do.
Yes.
It's a hard proposition. The book is, like I said, been saying the whole time, it's very out there. It's not your typical narrative. It doesn't follow, what you'd expect a plot to do. And in that, it's kind of set itself quite a hard outing for, how to make it a satisfying...
Put it in moving image.
Yeah, how to make it a satisfying hour to hour TV show. It's a tricky one.
Let's go back to the whole hammer, bloody hammer man.
Yeah.
who I can't remember his name. Bloody Hammer Man.
Tenzabog.
Yes, Tenzabog.
Tenzabog.
So they play another game.
And he's still getting his head bashed in.
Yes, he is. That's right. Because
only one hit.
Yes, because I thought they sort of breezed past the point where it's one each. So in my head, he's still getting his head hit once, and
with a big fucking sledgehammer.
Yeah. So whenever that happens, that'll be exciting.
I mean, is it a spoiler to say that it does happen?
Well, no. That was my question. Are they just ignoring that and just taking it that he's going to go to the meeting point now and forget about the whole hit him over the head rather than
no. This doesn't cheap out on anything it sets up.
Good.
This goes for it.
Good.
Fully.
And I also found we got to see the hidden sister.
Yeah.
And going back to the whole point of like learning more about them now, with them coming in for more than one episode, we learn more about the purpose, like the actual point of the sisters. Where they're there to watch the skies. They're making sure that, the frying pan isn't leaping from the sky. It's probably not the best one. I'm sure there's a lion up there. And a bear. You know, they're watching those sort of spirits in the sky that they're staying there. They're sort of wardens, I would say, of the skies. Which I thought was quite interesting. And how that's going to sort of play on. And I guess it touches on the whole, hippogriffin thing. It's on that sort of scale that's where you've got that sort of creatures living, and they are apparent. They're just some are just being held captive in the skies.
Yeah. No. It definitely creates an elaborate and enticing mythology. Which is what I like so much about the story and about the book, is it creates this whole world, this whole hidden universe of different creatures and myths and gods and legends and so on and stuff. But it kind of all rolls them together into one modern day tale, which for me, in terms of what my sensibilities are, in terms of what I look for in a narrative, I find massively intriguing and exciting, and I do think they are doing a good job. They're not half-arsing it, and that, to be honest, they're not trying to make it super accessible or dumbed down, which I give them credit for.
Yes, I'd agree, because there's a lot in the shows where it'll turn a lot of people off.
Yeah,
you wouldn't see this show on Channel 4.
No, absolutely. Like, for example, having a 10-minute gay love scene in the middle of your episode. It shouldn't be the case, but that is quite a bit of a...
it'd be in the papers. The amount of people that have reported it'd be ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a notable thing, and fair play to them. Don't pull your punches. Don't dumb it down. Don't censor the story, or depending on what what sexuality it's portraying or anything like that. So I think it's a good thing.
I think it's a great indicator, especially like you've read the book, you know what's coming. It's a good indicator to see they're gonna fulfill it. They're gonna do it.
Yeah, they are willing. They're not gonna they're not gonna pull their punches. Yeah. They're gonna go they're willing to chuck it all in, whether it be controversial or not to the tame sensibility of your primetime Channel 4 viewer. They're still going to go for it because it's what the story dictates, it's what the story needs, and it's part of it, and it makes sense within the context of the narrative. Like, that sequence makes sense and you believe it, and it is weirdly, I was watching it and it's genuinely quite engaging on an emotional level. You kind of buy into it, and it's quite sweet in a way, and tender in
I'd say really tender. It was really believable.
Yeah, and we, outside of kind of okay, well, gay cinema has had quite a rejuvenation, or perhaps mainstream acceptance in obviously things like Moonlight winning the Best Picture Oscar and stuff like that, which is story of a gay young man. So there is that coming into but this is it's full on, and we say it's full on, but if it was, a man and a woman, a hetero sex scene, we wouldn't even think anything of it.
No, we
It
probably
be a
wouldn't even
thing.
be talking about it.
And without, this being put in the public sphere, it won't be. It needs to get to the point where it is, it's not a thing in the same way watching a hetero couple get off is not a thing. Because that's where, well, as kind of open-minded, forward-thinking individuals, that's where we kind of want to end up in a social climate. We want it to be, ingratiated and not a taboo and not something that's odd or controversial. So I do think you got to give it a fair play for, putting it front and center in their show.
And doing it properly.
And not kind of making it something perverse or something to be mocked or to be like.
It could have gone so wrong in so many ways.
It could have become leering or almost like trying to be extreme or gross.
Yes.
And it does exactly that. It is just a kind of quite affectionate, quite tender, and quite human love scene, which I think's. And you do get the feeling that these are individuals connecting through loneliness and solitude, and like I say, fair play to it. Well done.
Yeah, totally agree. The show's moving on. I think it's starting to gain a bit of steam.
Bit of momentum, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. I still could see why people might be like, I don't know where it's going. I still do get that. I can see why that might be the case, but no, I think it's where did it end up? Where did that
it ended with a big end.
Oh shit, why haven't we talked about that? Zombie girlfriend
with the oh yes, let's just step back a second with Leprechaun man, what's it, Sweeney?
Mad
Sweeney in search of his special coin, his lucky coin.
Yeah.
Takes him to the burial site, the graveyard of Mrs. Moon.
Laura Moon.
Where we see a coin-shaped hole going through the. What's it called again? A
coffin.
Coffin. I was going to say casket. Is that still the right word?
Yeah, you can use casket.
It
is a casket. Yeah.
There we go. Going through there. So obviously the coin is something special. There's something going on there.
Melted through it like acid.
And she's not there. She's nowhere to be found.
Empty coffin.
And we also learn that it is the sun coin. It's the embodiment of the sun in a coin.
Perhaps, yeah, sure.
That's sort of what we touch on, because he also receives the moon one later on.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's back to life.
Or is she?
Oh, I don't know. I assume so. I assume she's now got the power of the sun in her.
It's not as simple as she's alive or dead. This is the weird thing. It's kind of, well, I'm sure we'll get more of this in the following few episodes, but she is still dead. And that doesn't leave any easy answers. It's not like he can forget what's happened and get back with her because she's alive now. Because she is still dead. And that.
What, and slowly rotting still?
Well, yeah. I'm not going to give it away, but, she's a dead body that's been given a temporary lease of life and she's able to interact and stuff. But it's not a quick fix. She's not just a living character now. There's more to come with that.
Let's hold out then. I'm excited to figure out what's going on.
Good.
With most of it. But yeah, man, let's roll on episode 4.
Wicked. I'm excited. When's it coming out? On Monday.
Monday.
Hopefully by then we'll have a new full-length podcast out. Yes. Perhaps with a special guest, where we'll be talking about loads of things that have gone down, primarily our front-loaded Alien Covenant review, which will save all our feelings for that.
For sure.
Can I get a sound? What did you think of it in a sound?
In a sound? Meh.
I'll say nothing.
Oh.
We've got more to talk about. There's a load of new music that's out and about. I'm not going to say anything. Chris Cornell died today, which I'm very sad about, and I will say a little piece on him. And yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Get involved.
Get involved indeed. Right, we're good. We're out. Bye.
Bye.